Hey, we're tuned in from France.
Welcome to the GCN Show.
Welcome to the GCN Show.
He's back! This week we are asking the question, just how bad is alcohol for cycling performance?
And we've got an exclusive look at the all-new 3T Explorer.
Not only that, we have got one to give away to one very lucky viewer. Plus, we've got a very exciting announcement to make about our videos coming up over the next couple of weeks.
And we're celebrating Pie Day.
In Tech of the Week, which means we get to eat pie.
No, pie, like the number pie.
Pie. This week in the world of cycling, we learned that we at GCN are as bad as we've ever been at making predictions.
Or maybe, Dan, we just learnt that Milan San Remo is still very hard to predict.
Yeah, that's the one.
We also learnt that gravel bikes are here to stay and that they might end up looking very different to road bikes.
Yeah, very different, don't they? Very different to anything out there, I would say. And finally this week, we learnt, or at least I did, that Belgium, well, they make some fantastic beers, don't they?
All these years, and you just learnt that last week?
True. I was probably reminded of how good the Belgian beers are last week because Matt and I were over in the Flanders region of Belgium doing some content for the Cobbled Classics campaign, which is upcoming. And each evening we had a beer or two to relax. And that got us discussing just how bad is alcohol for our cycling performance.
Do like a good creamy head. Same here.
Before we take a deeper dive into this subject though, Dan, let's just clear up that what we're not talking about is drinking and then riding drunk, or drinking and then riding. That's something that we don't condone at all. What we actually want to have a think about is what's the effect of occasional drinking on your athletic performance? Will it slow you down in effect?
Well, I for one am not riding as fast as I used to, and I am drinking a little bit more than I used to, so perhaps the proof is in the pudding.
You know, I don't think we should boil it down to one factor, Dan. You know, there are others at play. Age? You're training less?
Flipping heck, Basti. Viewers might have missed you, but I'm not sure I did.
Well, I'm sorry, but not really that sorry. I think, though, Dan, I can speak for us both when I say that we, each enjoy the occasional beer in an evening.
Very true.
Or a nice glass of red wine or something like that. So the question is that slowing us down?
Well, there's no doubt that there's nothing quite like an ice-cold beer for me after I've finished a long, hot summer's ride, but maybe I am in denial about its effects.
You could well be, Dan, because the list of detrimental effects of alcohol is very long. Firstly, despite being rich in calories, alcohol affects your body's ability to convert glucose into glycogen because your body prioritises getting rid of the alcohol toxins rather than performing that other important task. Secondly, alcohol also takes priority in your body, which means that if you've been eating fatty foods, which people are occasionally known to do when they have been drinking, your body will prefer the alcohol as its fuel, meaning that you'll store the fatty foods as fat.
Oof.
Goodness knows how we look. So amazing, really, Dan.
Good genes, that's it, I think, good genes. The list definitely does not end there, does it? Alcohol is also a very well-known diuretic, which means that you need to go to the loo more, which in turn affects your sleep, which in turn affects your body's ability to produce human growth hormone, which is a key component for muscle repair and growth. Likewise, it can also reduce your body's testosterone levels and protein synthesis, which are also key components for that muscle reparation. And on top of all of that, it also reduces your blood plasma volume. That means that your heart is always having to work harder, which is why when you get back from a big night on the town and lay your head on the pillow, your heart rate sounds about the same as if you're riding up Mont Ventoux.
There's no good news, is there?
Not really. I still haven't even finished yet. There's also the fact that in an alcoholic drink, there is very rarely anything that's any good for us at all. And not only that, but it also can affect our absorption of some key nutrients and vitamins that we get from the rest of our diet. It's terrible, Lassie. Have you got any good news?
I got one bit of good news, Dan. It's tenuously linked. I'm not sure it has any direct link to cycling performance, but a Dutch study found that moderate red wine drinkers, it's a bit of a tongue twister there, actually lived on average 5 years longer than their abstinent counterparts.
That is good news. Not to make us any faster on our bike, though, is it?
No, it's not. I've got one other piece of news, Dan.
Yeah.
I feel like this one might be damning with faint praise, which says that low alcoholic drinks aren't detrimental to rehydration.
When you say low, what are we talking here?
2%.
2%?
Yeah.
That's nothing. When does it become detrimental?
It becomes detrimental at 4.
4%?
Yeah.
Duvel's twice that.
Duvel.
Yeah, so there really are very few benefits to consuming alcoholic drinks. And alcohol is basically quite bad, / very bad for your cycling performance and for your general health.
Yeah.
So if you must consume alcohol, you're probably best to limit it to a couple of drinks.
Yes, the evidence really is quite irrefutable, isn't it? I guess, though, the one thing we might be able to say is that there could be a slight negative psychological effect to complete abstinence. I mean, what the experts are basically saying is to be sensible with your alcohol consumption, just as you should be sensible with the rest of your diet.
Yeah, I think the abstinence point and the negative psychological effects regarding dietary stuff is quite interesting, because if you are so focused on, we're going to talk about your cycling goal, it's the GCN Show, if you're so focused on that you cut out anything that you believe to be even marginally negative in this pursuit of marginal gains and ultimate victory, like, I don't know, personally I found that approach never really benefited me that much. I was much better, I was much happier if I was socialising and seeing my friends, which might have meant me not drinking even if we met at a pub, and I found that by cutting that out, I was a less happy person and therefore not as fast a cyclist.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. There were points in my career where I tried to be 100% healthy in everything that I consumed, be that alcohol or cakes or crisps or anything else. But generally, I would then crack completely after 2 or 3 weeks and have a complete binge. Whereas if I allowed myself every so often to have something which wasn't great for you, I was generally all right for an entire year at a time. Anyway, interesting thoughts. We'd like to hear yours if you can leave them in the comment section just down below. How does alcohol affect your riding the next day? It also seems like quite an apt time, lastly, to thank regular GCN commenter Michael McDermott for sending through 15 lovely Belgian beers that we are now quite reluctant to drink.
Thanks, Michael. We've got some very, very exciting news. Great news for all of you Cobbled Classics fans, because between this Thursday all the way up to Paris-Roubaix, we are going to be running extended features on the Cobbled Classics on GCN and GCN Tech.
Yes, so you can look forward to videos such as a tyre width test or a tyre pressure test. We ride the last 100 kilometres of Paris-Roubaix. We find the 5 hardest cobbled climbs in Flanders. We've also got a Tour of Flanders preview show. We've got a Paris-Roubaix preview show and plenty more. And it all kicks off, as Larcy said, this coming Thursday, where Matt will be explaining what the Cobbled Classics are all about.
Here's a quick preview. That is my favourite part of the cycling calendar.
Yes, you've got to love the Cobbled Classics, haven't you? And to go with this new theme for the next couple of weeks, we've got a brand new logo and also brand new t-shirts with said logo, which you can find right now on shop.globalcyclingnetwork.com.
There's going to be a link up there on screen, and of course there's a link down in the description as well.
It's now time for cycling shorts.
We would like to start cycling shorts this week by sending a huge congratulations from GCN to Lizzie and Philip Dignan. Last week they announced that they are expecting their first child this coming September.
Yeah, amazing news. Obviously Lizzie is going to sit out the rest of this cycling season, but she says she's going to return in 2019 and 2020, with her aim being to win the World Championships in her home county of Yorkshire.
Can you imagine the cycling genes that kid's going to have? Wow. Anyway, moving on. A recent study published in the Journal of Sexual Medicine, which in our ranking of journals is probably right at the top, isn't it? Number 1. We do like reading that most days. Anyway, this study showed that riding and cycling is actually good for women's sexual health.
The study, which surveyed over 2,000 female cyclists, showed that cycling doesn't have a detrimental effect on sexual function, and found that those who cycled the most had better function than those who didn't.
Interesting stuff. Now, you know that we do love a concept bike over here on GCN, and this Pi bike really caught our eye. The bike was designed to celebrate Pi Day, which was on the 14th of March, and it is shaped, well, it's the symbol Pi basically, isn't it? But it's still fully functional, and I'm quite a fan. I think that's a very interesting concept bike.
Yeah, I think, interesting is probably the best word for it then. Now, Velon, whose aim is to make professional bike racing more interactive, entertaining, and also just to provide more information, have welcomed 7 new partner teams.
Yeah, they have. One of those is a World Tour squad, the South African team Dimension Data, but they've also brought 6 professional continental teams into the fold as well. And what that means is more rider data and more onboard camera footage for us in 2018 and beyond.
Now, as you will all likely know, the Cobbled Classic season is about to get into full swing, but before Ghent-Wevelgem this coming Sunday, New Zealand under-23 champion James Fuchs will lay a wreath at the Menin Gate.
Yeah, that race in particular actually has a lot of history surrounding it, doesn't it? Because it passes through towns such as Ypres and Messines, which saw some of the worst scenes from World War II. And actually New Zealand in particular lost a lot of troops in that particular area, including some from the New Zealand Cycling Corps.
This commemoration is now an annual event for riders from New Zealand, which I think is a great thing.
Definitely, yeah.
We're going to finish Cycling Shorts now, Dan, with a check-in from Omar Di Felice. You might remember he was trekking across Iceland when we last saw him.
Where is he now?
Well, he's just completed his ride across the Arctic Highway in Canada.
Yeah, apparently he was the first rider ever to do so. And if you look at his Strava file, it totaled 1,380 kilometres over 10 days with a total of 60 hours ride time. And some of the photos that he got from his trip are really quite incredible, not least this picture of the Northern Lights. It might have been minus 23 degrees C, but it looks like it was worth it.
That's amazing. Tech of the week now, and it is the moment that you've all been waiting for. It's your chance to win an amazing gravel bike frame set.
It is. It is the 3T Explorer, which has just received a new update. And it's that updated version which you have a chance to win here through GCN. Now, the Explorer was first released back in mid-2016. It's a bike that is designed to be capable of taking in off-road sections whilst also being super fast when you're on the road.
How, you might ask? Well, it's an incredibly versatile frame set. So you can choose to use 700C wheels, probably with slicks or your preferred cyclocross type tyre, or you can opt for 650B wheels and go for tyres with a larger volume.
And the aerodynamics? Well, that all comes from the Squareo technology, which is used on a number of tubes. And that is designed to make this bike fast in real world conditions where you can get muddy and you're probably going slower, as opposed to just wind tunnel conditions, which are generally quite perfect. And the claims really are quite impressive. So a 3T Explorer, complete with 40mm knobbly tyres, 2 bottles and covered in mud, is aerodynamically faster than the equivalent round-tubed road bike with 28mm tyres, completely clean and without any bottles.
Impressive stuff, and like we said, 3T have updated the frame set, so it's now called the Exploro Limited, LTD. And they've changed it. So previously it had post mount brakes, it now has flat mount brakes. They've also tweaked the carbon layup of the frame, which has saved 50 grams. At the front end, on the fork, they've added an integrated brake mount and again tweaked the shape of that, making it sleeker and more aerodynamic, which saves 25 grams.
It's an impressive prize, isn't it? And one of you is going to get your hands on this frame set, but not just the frame set. They will also receive a 3T Apto Super Stealth stem and a 3T Super Guy Super Stealth set of bars. All you need to do to enter is click on the link, which is in the description below this video. All that leaves us to say is good luck.
Yeah, quite the prize. Saturday's Milan San Remo marked the first of the major one-day events of 2018, and we were treated to a thrilling finale. We've covered all of the race in the Race News show.
Yes, we have. This year, more than any other year, I think, there are more voices calling for a change of course at Milan San Remo. We asked your opinion about this actually over on our Twitter at GCN Tweet, and 80% or more of you came back and said leave it as it is. And I am definitely inclined to agree with you, particularly after Vincenzo Nibali showed on Saturday that a climber can win Milan San Remo.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that, because I think what you need to separate is a really hard course producing good racing and hard racing producing good racing. And hard course and hard racing aren't always the same thing.
No, you can't predict how exciting a race is going to be from the route profile, can you? And as it stands, we have 5 monuments, 2 for the classics hard men and women over the cobbles, 2 for the climbers, Liège and Lombardy, and then 1 that's kind of in between. It's perfect.
Yeah, I think it's great. The race was also marred by a number of quite large crashes. Now, despite the length of the race, the riders actually hit the final 2 climbs relatively fresh and also very close together. It's usually a big peloton going into them, right? And the riders who suffered the crashes included Andre Greipel, Simon Clark and Mark Cavendish, so we wish all of them a speedy recovery.
We do. They look particularly nasty actually, didn't they? And actually the aftermath of this crash at another race called the Hans Armour Classic up in Belgium was one of those really good sporting stories, I thought. This was a screen grab from Eurosport's coverage taken by Vital Concept. Neither of the riders involved were from their team, but they were from 2 different teams. However, both riders involved in the crash helped each other up, shook hands and got on their way.
Yeah, that's great. That's what sport's all about, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Right, back to San Remo for a few moments. And how good was it to see Vincenzo Nibali take that victory. I, for one, did not predict that result. I just thought that the race was too hard these days for pure climbers.
You actually told your mate specifically not to bet on Nibali.
I did, yes. My friend Dean, who texted me the night before saying he's 150 to 1, what do you think? I said, well, he's been up there before, but he's not going to win. So I was obviously in his good books. But I just didn't think it was possible these days, in the modern peloton, for a climber to be able to make enough of a difference against the likes of Julian Alaphilippe, Peter Sagan, Michał Kwiatkowski, all great climbers who also got a great sprint.
Yeah, but Nibali is just an incredible rider to watch, like you've touched on. He's got a great racing instinct that he's not afraid to go by, which is good to see. He is a phenomenal climber and a phenomenal descender to match, all without being too calculating. He's just a great rider to watch.
He is. He's right there. Was he on our 7 riders to watch at Milan San Remo? Of course he wasn't. That's why he won. It's time now for hack/bodge of the week. Don't forget, if you would like to contribute to this part of the show, all you've got to do is put your photos up on social media with the hashtag GCNHack. And the first person who did that for us last week was Geoff Davies. He cycles every day but only runs once a week. He was considering buying a running watch, but as they're quite expensive, he decided to just make basically a bracket for his wrist for his Wahoo Element Bolt, which will do the job perfectly, won't it, Lasty?
Yeah, that's a solid hack for me, Dan.
Yeah, hack from me as well. Total cost 15 quid, he says.
Next up, Lewis Donovan, who said, check out the tyre patch I used to replace my laptop's missing rubber protector. Is this a hack or a bodge?
Bodge.
Oh, I was going to side with hack there. I think it's
really?
ingenious. It's ingenious at least, isn't it?
Yeah, all right, hack.
Hack
There
or
you go.
bodge. It's in the middle.
Next up from Stuart Ackers, he's had a broken carbon fibre wheel, but he's managed to make 3 hangers out of it. And on it, he's got a GCN t-shirt, so that's definitely a hack, isn't it?
Definite hack. Next up is Jamie Pocock, who says, my Super 6 with PZ Racing clip-on bar attached to my Pathom 2 compact aero drop bars via custom clamps that follow the aero profile of the handlebar where the bars flare out and are also moulded to the bottom of the TT bar, making for perfect fit. So I'm presuming Jamie has custom made, 3D printed something. His brackets.
Well, yeah, it is very hard to get anything mounted onto aero bars sometimes, isn't it? Even your head unit can be a pain if the aero part goes right the way up to your stem. So, yeah, I'd say that was a hack.
Yeah, definite hack. Well done, Jamie.
They're tri-bars though, aren't they?
Yeah, would be class. They are those
Yeah.
ITU legal, draft legal tri races.
Leave it as hack anyway. Next up, all right, so that's Nathan Hibbert has said he's got his hands on the new Canyon gravel bike, the Grail, rides pretty well. See what you did there, Nathan, but I'm going to withhold judgment on this double bar scenario until I've had a chance to ride it myself.
Caption of the week time now, where it's your chance to win a GCN water bottle by Camelback. And Dan, I think you've chosen not one but 2 winners this week.
I have, yeah, because we had 2 very good entries last week underneath the show. This was the photo, and the 2 winners are, firstly, Ed Markey, who put, no thanks, I'm already too tired. And secondly, Gijs Rimbergen. Kvia, don't go so fast, I'm trying to hold your wheel. I thought they were both brilliant, actually. So well done to both of you. Get in contact on Facebook with your address details, and we'll get one of those out to you each. This week, it's a picture of Tish Benoit in the final time trial of Tirreno Adriatico. Should I get them started, Lasty?
You should, Dan.
That's got to be an e-bike.
I can't see you being beaten with that, Dan.
Oh, absolutely terrible. Couldn't think of anything better, but given your performances last week, I'm sure you lot will. So do your best in the comment section below this video. It's that time of the show where we read out a couple of our favourite comments from the past 7 days and tell you what's coming up over the next 7.
Yeah, so I really like this comment, Dan. It's from Nancy Lay, who says, I'm a return viewer. Ever since Emma joined GCN, I literally watch every video as soon as they upload it.
Hizokuto, but I thought the shot was overexposed until I realised that Emma is tanned and Sai's waiting for winter to just end already. In fact, we're still waiting for winter to end already now, aren't we? It's absolutely freezing outside here in the UK. Right, coming up on the channel this week. On Wednesday, we have got How to Pace a Climb from Emma, so Nancy will be no doubt watching that as soon as that comes up.
If you're riding with a bunch of others, notice that many people will set off too fast and blow up.
All right, mate. Think you went a bit fast at the start, eh?
Wait!
On Thursday, our Cobbled Classic theme begins, and as mentioned, Matt is going to be explaining what the Cobbled Classics are all about. And then Friday, a special Cobble themed edition of Ask GCN Anything. So if you've got any questions that you would like to ask on that theme, leave them below this video.
Part 2 on Saturday of Emma's training series. This time Emma's going to focus in on fasted training rides for endurance. So I very much look forward to seeing that. Another one I'm really looking forward to is Sunday's video, where we visit a company called Informed Sports, who test supplement and sports nutrition brands' products to see if they contain any banned substances.
Yeah, that should be really
to make sure they don't.
Monday is, of course, the GCN race show. We'll wrap up the last 7 days of racing, and then we're back in the set on Tuesday for the GCN show.
Episode 272.
Wow, it's over 5 years. You're only age 10. It's the end of the show, and that means it's extreme corner time. Now, we've got the answers to the question you were all asking yourselves earlier. Did Matt crash? Yes, he did. You'll just never learn, Matt, will he? To ride a bike properly. He was trying to get back onto the lip of the cobbles and failed, as you can visibly see, but he was alright and managed to ride the last 100 k's at Pavé the following day.
As we mentioned back at the start of the show, we've got some very special content coming for you all about the Cobbled Classics, and to celebrate that, you can get a Cobbled Classics t-shirt in the GCN shop. There's a link just up there now and down in the description too.
Great second plug there, Lasty. Right, well, that's the end of this week's GCN show. We'll be back at the same time next week. In the meantime, if you're yet to catch up on our free speed video, you can find a load of tips and hacks just down here.
And to subscribe to GCN, just hit our logo, which is on screen right now. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and share too.